Hello children, let us start a new chapter, Human Circulatory System. What is human circulatory system? As we know, whatever things produced inside our body or the substances has to be taken from one part of our body to another that requires a medium of transport. So I can say that circulatory system is a transport system. How? Because in a multicellular organism, substances can't be reached to other parts of the body by its own. Rather, it requires a medium for transportation. So, it carries nutrients, oxygen, water to all the cells of the body. It also carries waste products produced in the different body parts of the body to the excretory organs for the removal from the body. So this all work is done by a transport system which is known as circulatory system. Then coming to functions of circulatory system, let us see what are the functions. First of all, it helps in the transportation of nutrients, the nutrients which we get from food. If it is there in the digestive system, so it has to be carried to other parts of the body, and that is done by circulatory system. Transportation of respiratory gases, that is oxygen and carbon dioxide. So as you know, hemoglobin is present in red blood cells, and red blood cell is a part of circulatory system and hence helps in the transport of respiratory gases. Then comes transport waste products. So whatever waste products is formed in different parts of the body is carried to the excretory system, and from there it is being removed out from our body. Then comes transport hormones. As we know, in the previous chapter we studied that hormones, they release their secretion directly into the bloodstream. So in this way, what happens, the hormones, they are carried to the targeted organs or the targeted site by the help of the circulatory system. It maintains temperature of the body, helps in fighting against the foreign substances. Now let us see. In this, under this circulatory system, we'll be talking about blood vessels and heart. So let us cover the first topic, that is blood. Blood is a fluid connective tissue and it contains mainly two substances, that is plasma and cells. Cells contain three types. Cells are of three types: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. So in this case, if we'll see this picture given here, you can see the substances here. These are the red blood cells, the biconcave structures. Then these are the white blood cells. Red blood cells helps in carrying the respiratory gases from one part of our body to another. White blood cells helps in fighting against the foreign substances, and the platelets that helps in clotting of blood. So these are the cells which are present in the blood and their functions. Now let us understand what is a blood group and how we can distinguish different types of blood group. So the surface of the red blood cells that has a substance that is called antigens. Antigens, they are the inherited proteins. Means they are inherited from the parents to offspring. Now in blood group A, we can get the antigen A. Blood group B, we can get the antigen B. Blood group AB contains both antigen A and B. Blood group O having neither antigen A nor B. So by this way, by the presence of antigen A and B on the surface of red blood cells, we can distinguish different types of blood groups, and mainly the blood groups are of four types. Now you can see here the chart is given. This is a blood group A that contains antigen A on its surface. Blood group B that contains antigen B on its surface. Blood group AB contains both antigen A and antigen B, and blood group O that have neither antigen A nor antigen B. Now coming to the antibodies. Antigens are the foreign substances. Those are attacked by the antibodies um, produced by the bodies. Okay. Now in this case what happens? Antigen A produce antibody B. Suppose a person having blood group A is given the blood B. It's transfused with the blood B. Now blood B contains antigen B. So this blood group B or the antigen B that acts as a foreign substance to blood group A. Now what happens? By seeing the antigen B on the surface of the red blood cells, red blood cells A will start producing antibody B that will start fighting against antigen A. Okay, so in this case what we can see that in case of red blood cells A, antibody B is produced. In case of red blood cells blood group B, antigen A is produced. Just vice versa, what happens if a person B is provided with blood group A, what happens then? B contains antigen B and the blood group A contains antigen A. So this antigen, if it is provided to blood group B, then this acts as a foreign substance to group B, and because of which what happens, this antibody this blood group B starts producing antibody A that will fight against antigen A. Now in this case, in blood group AB, none of the antibodies are produced. In blood group O, both the antibodies are produced. So that is why antibody or group AB is a universal recipient. Means as none of the antibodies are produced, means they will not fight against any of the blood groups supplied to it. So they can get blood from A, they can receive blood from B, they can receive blood from AB, and they can receive blood from O. But in case of blood group O, antibody A is also produced, antibody B is also produced. If this group is receiving blood from A, so antibody A will produce, it will fight against antigen A. If this blood group is provided with antibody B and antigen B, so what will happen? We will produce antibody B and we will start fighting against this blood group. If this blood group is supplied to this person, what will happen? It will produce both the antibody B and it will fight against this blood. Okay, so in this case what happens? Blood group O is universal donor, can donate blood to A also, can donate blood to B also, can donate blood to AB also, and can donate blood to O also, but it cannot receive blood from any of these three blood groups. Only it can receive blood from its own group, its own type. Understood? So these are the antibodies which are produced. So in this case, just because of the presence of the antigens on the surface of the red blood cells, because of this only we can say that which type of person can give blood to whom. So this is known as blood transfusion, that is the process of transferring blood from one person to another if the person is in need. So the person who donates the blood is known as donor, the person who receives the blood is known as recipient, and the blood groups should match. Now itself we studied that if the blood groups are not matching, means the blood group of that particular person will start producing antibodies and that will start fighting against the foreign blood group which that person is receiving. Now in this case what happens? The mismatched blood types that clump together, means they will glue together and will not allow the blood group or the blood to move inside the blood vessels, and this clumping is known as agglutination. Okay, then coming to a different type of factor which is known as Rh factor. Rh factor was first discovered in rhesus monkey. Now this Rh factor, if it is present, then we can call it as Rh positive. If this factor is absent, we can call it as Rh negative. Rh positive, if it is present, if it is not present, doesn't matter. Nothing much difference can be seen. But most of the majority population contains Rh positive blood group. Now in this case, what happens? How we can get A positive and A negative blood groups? Now in this case, if Rh positive or Rh factor is present along with antigen A, then that type of blood group is known as A positive. And if Rh is not present along with antigen A, then that type of blood group is known as A negative blood group. Okay, so presence of Rh positive and the presence of Rh or absence of Rh, that denotes the positive and the negative blood groups. So if Rh is present, then the blood group becomes positive, and if Rh is not present or absent, then it becomes negative. So in our next video, we'll be studying about blood vessels.